Hi everyone, welcome to my channel for the glory of God. And reading from the book Counsel on Diet and Food, Reasons for Reform. Only one lease of life is granted us, and the inquiry with everyone should be, how can I invest my powers so that they may yield the greatest profit? How can I do most for the glory of God and the benefit of my fellow men? For life is valuable only as it is used for the attainment of these ends. Our first duty towards God and our fellow beings is that of self-development. Every faculty with which the Creator has endowed us should be cultivated to the highest degree of perfection, that we may be able to do the greatest amount of good of which we are capable. Hence, that time is spent to good account, which is used in the establishment and the preservation of physical and mental health. We cannot afford to dwarf or cripple any function of body or mind. As surely as we do this, we must suffer the consequences. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 31 says, whether therefore ye eat or drink, or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. So with that said, I would like to share with you on this channel vegan cooking to promote diet reform as we prepare for the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so today I will be demonstrating from scratch how to make homemade gluten as a vegan diet. Thank you. Yes, so I have gone ahead and I have pre-knead the flour, and I put that in the refrigerator overnight. So here I have the dough in the water that it was set in overnight, and so I am going to do the washing out process. And so I'm going to be pouring the water from off the dough, and then I'm going to run the pipe and I'll be washing that out. So here I am washing the flour, and so we are going to wash until the starch is removed from the entire dough, and what will remain is the gluten. So we are going to be washing, and it's a thorough process, everyone, because you have to remove all the starch, and once you get all the starch out, what will remain is the gluten. And so it's a labor-some job to wash the starch all out of the dough so that the gluten remains, because you do not want to have flour to make a meal, because it's not going to be very tasty. And so you have to ensure that all the starch is removed. And so the process is, it's a long process, a little bit lengthy to wash and remove, and you'll be washing until the water becomes very clear. And so here we have the gluten. This is what is left of the entire dough that was there. It's a very tiny gluten, but this is healthy and it is good. And so what I've done, I've added some seasoning, powder seasoning, and some soy sauce to it, so that it becomes, so that it can become tasty. And we're massaging it into the gluten that remains, and so it becomes tasty, so that it can be eaten and it's palatable. And so you have to continue to rub it in, and then after that, then you're going to put it on the cutting board, and then you're going to start to cut. So you're going to cut them in strips like you would cut regular meat, beef, if you are going to make beef, and you cut, or chicken, you cut them in strips. So I'm cutting the gluten in strips, so for cooking. And so as you cut until all the gluten is cut in strips, tiny strips, because then it will, you want it to be palatable, and for it to be done properly, so you can get it to cook as how you would want it to cook. And it can be, you can even add, you can use curry as well instead of using soy sauce. If you want to have a curry gluten, that can be done as well. At another time I will show you how to do the curry gluten, but this one is on with the soy sauce. And so you continue to cut away until all of it is cut up in strips. And this is what it looks like after you cut everything. It's all cut up, everyone, as you can see. And then I'm gonna add put on my pot with some oil, and then I will add this cut up gluten. Add them piece by piece as it goes along with the fire, on a low fire, that you do not want to burn your food, because burnt food is not really tasty. And so that you add the gluten as you go along, add it continually until all on the cutting board is in. And then after, you start to stir it, because they're going to kind of cling together, because you have a little clingy, because of what it was originally. And so you have to use the fork to separate them. I just spin them over, and you kind of store them, because it's a stir fry, and you're not really frying it as you would fry chicken. And you have them separated. Then you start to add your onion and your tomato and your pepper, sweet pepper, and your garlic, because all of that now is going to be stir fried in, for tasting, because you want it to taste really good. And so you add all of what you want to add. Some people might add scallion and thyme, as well as they might add, other herbs and spices if you want. So this one is all that I am adding, and I'm adding that. And then I'm going to be adding my vegetable. My vegetable is frozen. My broccoli and my cauliflower and my carrot is frozen, so I'm going to add that. And because it is frozen, then I'm going to have, the frozen products is going to start to melt with the heat, and so it's going to form its own juice. I don't have to add no water. And I'm stirring that in, incorporate everything. Have all the vegetables and all the seasonings incorporated along with the gluten. And so, this is what it looks like with the own juice, because that's coming from the frozen vegetable, because it's thawed. And it's looking really good, everyone. It's looking really good. You can't believe that this is gluten. And here is the done product on the plate. And then I will add some rice and peas. Very, very tasty, looking really sumptuous and really good, because God has given us wisdom and knowledge how we ought to prepare our meals to eat as we contemplate diet reform.